When it comes to this summertime crankbait trolling, one thing I like to keep in mind is always the size of fish that you're generally dealing with. And here on the Winnebago system, there's a lot of fish that are that 14 to say 17, 18 inches or so. And then your occasional 21 to 23 inches, so generally a little bit smaller. And so it's just one of those things where I always like to keep that in mind for my bait size and generally shape. So when it comes to setting up out here, so the first one is a staple out here and pretty much anywhere a walleye swims is the flicker shad. And so the flicker shad does a great job of having a more lifelike action, a very fast and tight action, which really excels in those warm months, but also that perfect shape that really allows you to match the hatch of the bait fish. And so it just does a great job of all of that. And so the next one that I like to try to get away with is more aggressive actions, especially in dirty water situations like we have. You know, right now the clarity is maybe a foot at best, but more like 8 inches. And so that's where a more aggressive action bait generally will shine a lot of times and be preferred just because you expand your strike zone. These fish can't see that far, so the more annoying, the more erratic, and the more noisy a bait is, generally the more pulling power it has for that attraction. And so this is the money badger here. It has a lot more roll. I mean, this bait is going to displace a lot of water, even with this very small size. And so that's another thing leading into the baits that you're using, is we're really experimenting with different sizes. A number 4 money badger has definitely outproduced a number 5 today. It's just one of those things where more times than not in the summertime, a lot of the young of the year are very small at this time, but also at the same time, depending on the system you're in, if there's a lot of bigger forage, say your shad or maybe 2-year-old white bass or sheephead, generally, you know, maybe a little bit bigger style baits are preferred. But a lot of times, let the fish tell you what they want. Don't just give them one choice. It's the same thing with the flicker shad. The number 5 has definitely outproduced the number 7. So in our situation here, you know, going out, maybe it's the first time on the water, not only experimenting with different colors, but different crankbait actions and even sizes for that matter, can really help you fine tune a lot faster and figure out what these fish want. And at the end of the day, when I start getting a few bites on one or the other, there's definitely going to be more of those going in the water.